I'm really hankering for an English muffin. That would just make my morning. What? That much? Oh man, how hard can it be to make an English muffin? Yeah, I was just wondering if you know, if you ever made English muffins before, and how hard can it be?
I've assisted in making English muffins. It's a little bit of a process.
How do you do it? What makes them English, you know?
Oh, well, I don't know the history exactly. I hope you can tell me.
How successful were you guys?
The muffins look like muffins. They taste like English muffins. But the thing that's always been elusive to us is the air holes.
Right, the crannies.
Cranny part of it.
The nooks and crannies.
Living in Florida,
yeah,
and humidity, even in the winter time here, they're not very big. The holes are not giant holes. They're like little tiny holes. I mean, in California, you're going to probably have great luck. It's probably going to be like the cat's meow up.
Well, I hope so. Well, you're getting a nook ahead of the cranny right now. I haven't even tried to do it yet. I mean, so
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go for it, I think, and I think this is within reach of how hard can it be, because how hard can it be, and we're gonna find out. So.
I think it is. I think it's totally in reach. Don't touch the dough any more than you need to.
Keep your hands off the dough unless you have to. Got it.
Yeah, unless you have to touch the dough. Let's leave the dough alone.
Okay. All right, I'll get you back on later and let you know how it went, all right?
All right, man.
All right, brother. Take it easy. We're diving down the rabbit hole of English muffins. It can't be that difficult. It's a muffin and it's English. English muffins. Who invented English muffins? In 1926, Thomas trademarked his interpretation of a crumpet as the English muffin. We have a British man to thank for the English muffin. Thomas's English Muffin Company was started by this guy, Samuel Bath Thomas, in the late 1800s, and when he came to New York City. He wanted to bake crumpets, but he had his own way, apparently, of doing crumpets, and that he called the English muffins to us gullible Americans. Sheldo's Kitchen, all right.
It's just almost creamy, yet they still toast up to be super
Oh, that looks
crunchy,
good.
With tons of nooks and crannies. There's a complex, subtly sweet flavor
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
from slow and
But how? How do we do it?
This is the kind of Sunday morning bake.
Yeah, get on with it. Ugh, skipping ahead.
Both of these should be at room
Yogurt.
temperature. Too cold and it'll slope.
There's yogurt involved? No. Oh, I see. It's about fermentation. Now I get it. That's the secret. The overnight fermentation. All right. I think we got this. We're going to follow this guy's recipe and we're going to make us some English muffins. You know what that means? All right, here we are in the How Hard Can It Be test kitchen. I have a confession to make. I mean, I'm not a baker. I've never baked in my life, like ever. I've cooked plenty. I'm a decent cook, but I've never baked anything. And baking and cooking, in case you don't know, are actually quite different things. I'm told that baking is more like chemistry. You know, and that means everything has to be much more precise than I'm used to in this crazy show. But, I mean, it's English muffins. It's not like a giant wedding cake or something. How hard can it be? So, you know, let's just dive in and see what happens. I've got all the ingredients. I've got all the measurements. Let's just try it, right? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? What if I can't do it? What if I've built this all up for nothing? Who do I think I am? I'm not a baker. I'm just a video editor. So I have no idea what I'm doing. Get a grip, man. Ugh. Had a moment there. I'm good. You gotta be fearless. You just dive in and see what happens. If you mess it up, who cares? All right, so the first thing, we got all our ingredients laid out, and I've actually found that when you are making something like this, it's really great to just get your ingredients in front of you so that you're just not like running back and forth and everything like that. It's just good to just have it all laid out. Okay, so first things first. Big bowl, 325 milliliters of water, 4 cups of all-purpose flour. So this is a decent size recipe. If it goes wrong, I've got a whole lot of nothing. just how accurate these baking recipes really need to be, right? There's gotta be some wiggle room. All-purpose flour into the water, another 2 cups, 3 tablespoons of oil. Apparently it's supposed to be neutral oil and not what I'm using, which is olive oil. So already we're deviating from the recipe, but I can't help it. I only use olive oil for cooking. Here we go. Trying to break out the yeasty boys here. 3/4 teaspoon of yeast. The yeasty boys are in. Wait a minute, I put the yeast in ahead of the, darn it, it was supposed to be water, oil, yeast, then flour. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. 1. There we go. Seems like a lot of salt. 2 tablespoons, that's the big boy, of sugar. Yeast eat sugar. And we need 2 tablespoons so they can have a lot to eat. All right, so stir to get everything wet, apparently. God, I'm baking, people. This is awesome. Yeah, I know some people at this point would break out the KitchenAid. Not me. I'm going in with my hands. Because if it was good enough for the guy on YouTube, it's good enough for me. The whole point of this is to get the lumps out. Make sure it's all mixed thoroughly together. God, I can't believe I'm baking. I feel like I'm riding a bike for the first time. Yeah, look at me. I usually watch somebody else do this, and I'm like, whoa, how are they doing that? This is no joke. I have never baked. Certainly never baked English muffins. I've never baked a cake, a cookie, as much as a scone. My very first time. That's my point, you know, it's like, I've always thought, how hard can it be to do this stuff? Baking in general, they make it seem like it's such a mystery. Like you really gotta study, or you have to have had this great grandmother teaching you all the secrets and everything. But honestly, it's like, and it's kept me away from baking all my life. It's kept me away from baking. And I've always thought, I'll try that. And every time I try it, someone would discourage me, you know what I mean? And maybe you've experienced that yourself. There's always been this secret baking club I feel like I've been kept out of all my life. Well, I'm breaking in. I'm breaking in on my own this time. Oh my God, did I miss a huge step? Oh my God. Guys, I just skipped the biggest and most important step of this whole recipe. The Greek yogurt. Oh, what an idiot. 5.3 ounces of Greek yogurt, unflavored. I'm just gonna put it in. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? Yeah, I was supposed to add that to the water in the very beginning. Darn it. I knew something was going too easy. See, this is why I don't bake. Well, I'm not gonna return back. How bad can it be to add it later at the, you know, at this stage of it? I'm just gonna have to put my hands in squishy, gross yogurt. Oh God. All right, I'm just gonna get this thing, somehow I'm gonna mix this yogurt in here. Yeah, the yogurt apparently is like the secret to this recipe. Yeah, it gives it a tanginess and a slight sourness, and the culture of the cultures, I guess, in the yogurt itself, how somehow act with the yeast and I don't really understand any of this, guys. Maybe we'll save this thing after all. The proofing stage takes 2.5 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna cover this dish for half an hour. It's gonna let it rest because it's been worked over pretty hard by me. We're gonna let it rest. We're gonna let the yeast party a bit. Let that Yeasty Boy concert get started. And then we're gonna come back and fold the dough over and over onto itself. And we gotta do this 3 separate times. It's been 30 minutes and now it's time to do our first stretch and fold. There's going to be 3 of these things. We're kind of conditioning the strands of protein, the gluten. Gluten is critically important to these English muffins tasting and feeling the way they do. Wet hands. Apparently it keeps you from sticking too much to the stuff. All right, so the trick for this apparently is you get your hands in here and you kind of gather the dough a bit and you reach underneath and you're going to pull up and over. And then you turn it and you 90 degrees and you pull up and over. So you're stretching the gluten molecules, I guess. I don't know. Up and over. And one more time, 90 degrees. And up and over. All right. Here we go. And I guess this somehow conditions the gluten to form long strands rather than just like random strands. We cover it up again, another 30 minutes, and we do it all over again. We got to do this 3 times to get this just right. And we're back. It's 30 minutes later and it's time to stretch and fold again. Here we go. Kind of get in there under it. All right, and then pull it up and over. It's like a comb over. And turn it 90 degrees, reaching underneath there. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Hit that 30-minute timer again so we do it one more time. And it's ready to stretch and fold one last time. So let's do that. Time to put this thing to bed for the night. Put it in the refrigerator, believe it or not. Not in a warm place like some things are done when they're proofing or just sitting out. It's gonna go in the fridge so that it slows down the yeast's work. They're not gonna stop. They're just gonna take their time and they're not gonna make many bubbles. So we're gonna do that and we'll meet you back here tomorrow night and then we'll make some English muffins. All right, let's do this. It's now almost 2 days later and I have let those things sit in the refrigerator proofing slowly this whole time. Apparently you can let them go for like 48 hours and the flavor will just get better and better. But unfortunately I'm running out of time. I got things to do. So I'm gonna get them out of the fridge. It's been about 36 hours and let's chop them up and get into the next phase. All right, here we go. Check it out. Looking pretty good. It's nice and plump. So we'll just take this out of the bowl and yeah, turn it into individual pieces. Here we go. I think you're supposed to keep your hands wet again so that the dough doesn't stick to you. Get the cold dough out. Apparently it needs to stay cold and you're supposed to work fast. So let's get this out. Because I guess cold dough is less sticky somehow. I don't know. Okay. Form it into roughly a circle and then poke a hole in the center. That's kind of fun. All right, and then I don't have one of those special dough, rolling cutting tools, so I'm just gonna use a knife, what the heck, right? Break that open there. Now we're gonna make a little log here. Log of flour, all right. Don't touch it too much, you don't wanna get warmed up because then it'll get super sticky. Everyone loves log. We chop it into 12 even pieces. Boom. Form them into a ball. The guy on the show said you just kind of stretch them out a little bit and then fold them over to the middle and all that. I guess that gives them an extra little bit of, I don't know, stretching this to the thing, and then you're supposed to roll them into a ball. Spread cornmeal on a cookie sheet. Let's transform these all into dough balls. You could use a cookie cutter, just poke these out. Something about, I think, pulling and stretching the dough one last time is important. That's the last one. It's not perfect, but neither am I. And that's what this show is about. The show is about trying stuff out. You gotta go to a second proofing, so we'll just take this, instead of putting it back in the fridge, we'll put it into a warm spot, put it in the oven, but without the heat on, and let it proof for 90 minutes. I gotta dust these things with some cornmeal first, then I can go put them in a warm place. Generously dust the tops of them. Now into a warm place for proofing for an hour and a half. But wait, but first you gotta cover them with plastic wrap. I don't have any plastic wrap, so I'm just gonna use aluminum foil. I don't know. What's the difference, right? I mean, how much of a difference could it possibly make? It's 90 minutes later. Let's see how these little bad boys are doing. All right. I don't know if they've risen enough. They definitely don't have, well, let's check them. You're supposed to poke them and then see if they spring back. Oh, actually they're perfect. They only are supposed to spring like halfway back. If you poke them and they don't spring back at all, then they are overproofed. It's time to actually cook these things. A couple of spatulas so you can pick them up without touching them and get stuck on them. So what you gotta do is preheat this pan, which I've been preheating on a low to medium heat for 3 minutes. I guess it has to be preheated. Let's pick a couple of good ones. And we pick them up with the spatula and we transfer them to the pan. Boom, just like that. Oh, that's an awful lot of cornmeal. Oh well. And put about 4 of them in there. Oh no, it's getting stuck. It's not like on TV. All right, and we'll try this guy. Maybe I started out with too much cornmeal. I don't know. The cornmeal's really gonna burn. Get over there. I think I got too much cornmeal. I really do. All right, boom. This cornmeal is gonna totally cook. Oh well. All right, there they are. They're in there. They're in the pan. Okay, 6 minutes on each side on low heat. And then you want to cover them up so that the steam helps to cook them too. You got to pat these things. Get them into that classic shape. And turn them a little bit as you go. And you're supposed to check them. I'm getting a little bit of smoke in here. I think that's because I have so much darn... Oh, it's working. It's working! Let's get them out of there. Look at that. Just beautiful on both sides. Wow. There we go. And we transfer them to another spot and let them rest a bit. But look at that. Oh, they're hot. Oh man, look at that. That is beautiful. Oh, they feel so fluffy and delicious. I just want to bite one. But we're not going to do that. We're going to wait a few minutes and then we're going to separate them and then we'll see if we actually have achieved English muffinness. At last, English muffins. Oh my God, I can't even begin to tell you. I'm going to see this with my... Okay, the moment of truth. Which one should I pick? All right. Okay, get that fork in it. You never want to slice an English muffin. You always want to go around it with a fork. Oh, it's hot. I've never held a hot one like this, right out of the oven or right off the stove. Okay, here we go. Oh my God, check that out. Look, crannies, we've achieved English muffins. Yes, yes, we did it. Oh my God, they're perfect. Look at that. Now you're supposed to toast them, right? That would be the next logical step, but I'm not toasting nothing. I gotta try this thing. Get yourself some nice salted butter and just dive right in. Oh my God. I can't believe it worked. It freaking worked. All right, enough butter. Here's to you. Wow. Magnificent. I'm speechless. That's incredible. Fluffy. Light. That English muffin taste, you know? We did it. We did it.
I gotta get a picture of you.
Incredible.
Eating your first English muffin.
Wow. I could eat this whole batch. It's a moment in history. English muffins have been freed. We can all make them at home now. I highly encourage you guys to give this a try. It's really not that hard. I would give this on the beer scale, scale of 1 to 5 beers. It wasn't easy. You gotta pay attention. You gotta hold on. You gotta get all the ingredients, and you have to follow the rules of baking. But honestly, have you ever baked cookies? This is nothing for you. For someone like me who's never baked anything, I would give it a 1.5 beers. For a baker, 1 beer, nothing to it. All right, guys, get out there and bake some of these things. Let me know how they turn out for you guys in your kitchen, all right? Thanks for joining me on How Hard Can It Be? See you next time. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Honestly, guys, that's the best thing you can do. If you do nothing else, just push the button. You don't have to smash it like everybody says. Just gently kiss the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll be doing much better. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Cut.
All right, cut. Wow, these are so
It's
good.
a wrap.